A big thank you to you for joining us on another interesting episode of the newspaper review here on TAP TV for today, the 29th day of March 2023. Cyril Aloysius is my name, and as always, ever beautiful and ever intelligent Natasha Brown is the person to look at the papers with me for today. Natasha Brown, you're welcome to join.
As always, thank you.
Yes, and without wasting much time, we're going to go straight into the business of the day. Starting first by looking at the Vanguard newspaper and headlines here. The boldest headline here in Vanguard says on page 5, this one says PDP crisis. Are you out? Damagum named acting chairman. PDP crisis. Are you out? Damagum named acting chairman. That story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. And on page 9 of the Vanguard, we have cash crunch. NLC suspends planned strike. Gives CBN 2 weeks to normalize supply. Cash crunch. NLC suspends planned strike. Gives CBN 2 weeks to normalize supply. Okay, that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard. On page 20, Afe Babalola is saying here, he says, government alone cannot reasonably be expected to improve the quality of life of everyone to the level which most people expect. Okay, that's from Afe Babalola on page 20 of the Vanguard. And on page 16, we have here, Baba Ahmed is saying on page 16, he says, democracy is not a short walk, and you are not on a journey at all if you abandon it at the first bump on the way. Okay, those are wise words there from Baba Ahmed in page 16 of the Vanguard. And on page 11, U.S. lawyer Bruce Fein, new British envoy to meet over Nnamdi Kanu's release. U.S. lawyer Bruce Fein, new British envoy to meet over Nnamdi Kanu's release. That story is on page 11 of the Vanguard. On page 9, we thought obedient movement, Peter Obi, were a joke. Ex-information minister Labaran Maku saying on page 9, says we thought obedient movement, Peter Obi, were a joke. That's coming from ex-information minister Labaran Maku. On page 8, we have NAS extends lifespan of 2022 capital supplementary budget to June 30th. NAS extends lifespan of 2022 capital supplementary budget to June 30th. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard. And on page 27, we have 10th NAS. We have become onlookers in selection process. APC NWC cries out. It says we have become onlookers in selection process. APC NWC cries out. That story is on page 27 of the Vanguard. On page 6, we have 39 passengers die in Niger, Bauchi, Kebbi auto crashes. 39 passengers die in Niger, Bauchi, Kebbi auto crashes. That's a sad news there on page 6 of the Vanguard. On page 8, we have fuel subsidy. Incoming government will bear palliatives burden, according to federal government. Fuel subsidy, incoming government will bear a palliatives burden. That's the federal government saying on page 8 of the Vanguard. On page 11, we have polls. It's just God that saved APC, according to Kalu. It's just God that saved APC. That's Kalu saying on page 11 of the Vanguard. On page 20, Kogi versus EFCC. Court adjourns ruling to April 20th. Kogi versus EFCC. Court adjourns ruling to April 20th. And lastly, in the Vanguard for today on page 11, we have Zenith Bank grows earnings by 24% to 945.5 billion naira. Wow, that's on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper. That's the much we can take in the Vanguard for today. Natasha Brown, I'd like to get your reaction to a particular headline I find interesting here on page 9. And it says, NLC suspends planned strike, gives CBN 2 weeks to normalize supply. Please, I'd like to get your reaction to this headline.
I'm quite impressed with what's his name again? Ajero, I think, I hope I got the name right, has been able to do so far. That's the NLC chairman. Okay. So you know that initially it was a 7-day ultimatum you know, saying that, you know, the CBN, if you don't mitigate around this challenge we're having, which is, you know, the whole cash crunch issue, then we're going to shut the whole economy down. We're going to shut the whole system down as labor union that we are. And swiftly, you know, they came up to say, please give us more time. We'll be able to sort this out in no time. And
but I want to ask,
I'm impressed so far.
Should it be taking this long for things to get back to normalcy as regards cash distribution? Because, you know, during the election period, you know, they said, oh, after the elections that things will get back to normalcy, and then we start seeing the cash again and all of that. It's been more than, I think, over 2 weeks now since the presidential election ended, and we are still in the same phase. So what do you have to say about this? Should it be taking this long?
It should not.
Okay.
If they had rightly prepared for this change that they wanted to happen, which is to run an absolute digital economy, if they had properly prepared for it, we shouldn't have had this lapse. Okay. You know, where Naira is surpassing Naira on the parallel market, you know, as they would jokingly say. But it's Nigeria. Sometimes we settle for mediocrity. Sometimes we settle for the barest minimum, which we shouldn't be okay with. But unfortunately, that's what, to a large extent, we have been cowed into doing. But anyway, at the end of the day, what I'm most excited about now is that normalcy is setting to a large extent, because let's say even 2 days ago, I know that a friend of mine has been able to go to the ATM to withdraw about 40,000 naira this time around.
Wow.
Yes, and I know that at the banks now, at the cashier stands, the till there, now you can be able to withdraw, I think, up to 100,000.
Okay.
I think so.
That's progress, right?
So it is progress. For me, it is progress, at least with time. That's why.
Money, right?
Right, with time we'll stop. And I like that CBN, they've actually sat up this time around, and they have according to them, they have disbursed this monies to the commercial banks. And NLC, they have said that they will serve as an avenue or a group or as an agency to oversee that this money is rightly disbursed to all these commercial banks, so that we can be able to get our old notes. If we can't get the new notes anymore, at least let's just get the old notes and just keep it moving. So I think for me, it is kudos to NLC first of all, and the new chairman Ajara. I think he has done well in this regard, and giving them a 2 weeks ultimatum, I think that it will give them ample time to be able to even further do better. Even coming to the office today, Access Bank close by, I saw outside, it was a multitude of people.
Yeah.
And I am like,
and it's scary.
And I am like, is this
scary.
still happening, or is it that you don't have any other banks to go to? But unfortunately, it's still something that we have to grapple with. But I know that over time, and I'm having faith in the NLC, CBN, and the commercial banks, that they'll be able to do right by us within this space of time that, you know, NLC has been able to give them as a further ultimatum.
Okay.
So.
All right, just before I draw the curtain on that particular headline, yes, I know that what I'm about to say now doesn't really relate to what we are saying, but I just need your thoughts on this. I need to get your response on this. It's about the old Naira notes coming back again, and to some extent I don't find that funny, because I was thinking within me, was it a few days back, I was like,
what was the whole point?
What was the whole stress for? Because I shouldn't be telling you the stress you and I went through. Nigerians, both here and every other places, went through just as a result of that change in the currency. And right now, they are bringing it back again. Now, is it that they knew they were going to bring it back and they just wanted to stress Nigerians, or things didn't go as planned and then they decided to bring it back?
I think it's more a case of things didn't go as planned.
Okay.
I think it's more of a case of they did not have proper planning for how to fully fledge out their thought or their plan or their policy.
On that basis.
I think on a larger crop of things, the CBN should be blamed.
Okay.
I think the CBN, the federal government, should be
Should there be
blamed.
punishment for such acts? Because believe it
There,
or not,
there
you have
absolutely,
really
there absolutely should be. But what I thought would have happened initially, in fact, if we're dragging this to the very beginning, would have been those banks that had monies in their vaults but yet refused to give
Disburse,
monies
okay.
to their customers. They should be sanctioned. Those POS people who is not just triple, they quadruple their interest rate
My God.
on collecting money.
My God.
So if such persons, if a handful of them can be apprehended, if a handful of them can actually be used to say, this was not the rightful way to go, what you did was illegal, then there would be some form of justice. I think with a lot of things that has happened, but unfortunately, none of that has happened. Emefiele, who is the CBN governor, has not resigned, has not been taken out. So it is unfortunate.
It's all now looking like a planned work, like a written script.
For me, and I think even for a larger number of Nigerians, it's beginning to look like it was all about politics. They were just using the larger populace to play politics for their own selfish interest. But at the end of the day, the deed has been done. It's just quite disheartening that we had to go through all of that to get back to square one. And I hope that we're not totally back to square one, because the new Naira notes that they said will still be in circulation should better be in circulation.
Natasha.
And with time, the old notes should be able to fizzle out. I'm just hoping that they do right this time around.
Natasha, you said the deed has been done. Yes, the deed has been done. What is going to happen to those persons responsible for...
Unfortunately, nothing. Unfortunately, nothing.
Because
we live in a country where people just do things with impunity, and they really don't necessarily care about the outrage of the citizenry. So
that is exactly the reason why people can just wake up, especially people who the political class can wake up and make any decision they like, whether or not it's harmful to people. They don't care.
I really did wish that we had gone on strike. I really did wish that the whole nation has shut down. But even though there was going to be economic disadvantages to that, but I think right now that Nigerians should just do something quite drastic to get the attention of the government. But anyway, still, not to say all is bad. NLC, they've done right so far, and I'm hoping to see normalcy, with this whole cash crunch issue within a few days from now, or in a week time. I'm hoping
because I know what I went through just to let go of the old notes I still had in my hands. So at that time, I was just dashing out my
people were withdrawing 10,000 naira and giving back and paying 4,000 naira.
Jeez.
So for your 10,000 naira, you're paying 14,000.
Pay for your own money. It was your own money.
It was a horrible time. I cannot forget the significant one. Someone that was to collect 500,000 naira had to end up paying 750,000. So his interest was 250. I'm like, people made money out of the disadvantage of the larger populace.
Are you sure Nigerians are going to be able to forgive POS
operators?
Right
ooh, but you might not
because
necessarily
they exploited us.
But you might not totally even blame them, because they were also saying that they also bought these monies from the banks.
They bought the monies, but come on, we know that most of us, we are aware that the price they were calling for us was just too much.
They added the stress that they went through. They added the stress, but no, it was a difficult experience that we had, and I hope that we don't go back to that. I just hope that we don't.
We hope that we don't go back to Egypt. We hope that we don't go back to that. We are moving over now to our next paper, which is the Daily Sun newspaper. And the boldest headline in Daily Sun here is on page 6, and it says, PDP, Atiku, Wike camps clash over Ayu's sack. PDP, Atiku, Wike's camps clash over Ayu's sack. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Sun. And on page 29, we have Nigeria records 784 confirmed Lassa fever cases, 142 deaths. Okay, that's on page 29. And on page 27, Imo, Anyanwu, now PDP sole candidate, as Ihedioha withdraws from race. Anyanwu, now PDP sole candidate, as Ihedioha withdraws from race. That story is on page 27 of the Daily Sun. And on page 25, Zenith Bank grows gross earnings by 24% to 945.5 billion naira in 2022. Okay, we already saw this before in the previous paper. And on page 26, we have Senate passes bills to extend implementation of 2022 budget. Senate passes bills to extend implementation of 2022 budget. That's on page 26. Still on page 26, Buhari inaugurates oil drilling project in Nasarawa. Buhari inaugurates oil drilling project in Nasarawa. That's still on page 26. And still in page 26, Kalu meets Buhari, says zoning Senate presidency to Southeast will bring peace. And over now to page 27 of the Daily Sun. We have Obi task Labour Party senators, reps elect on selfless service. Obi task Labour Party senators, reps elect on selfless service. That story is on page 27. Over now to page 4. Federal government panel on oil theft. Losses submits reports to NSA. That's on page 4. And lastly, in the Daily Sun for today, we still have on page 4. This one says, kidnappers of 4 INEC officials, 2 core members demand 50 million naira ransom. Kidnappers of 4 INEC officials, 2 core members demand 50 million naira ransom. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Sun. That's the much we can take in the Daily Sun for today. Natasha Brown, please, I'd like to get your reaction on PDP. Atiku, Wike camps clash over Ayu sack.
Horrible. Horrible. Like, why did they? I mean, what is the point at this time? Because initially the whole canvassing was for him to have been taken out prior to the elections. Before the elections, yes. Right, elections it's done and dusted.
And that was the major issue between Wike and Atiku then.
Wike, the Super Five, Atiku, the chairman. So I mean, now he's been sacked. So it's a funny thing for me. I'm wondering who wins at the end of the day. But unfortunately, or fortunately rather, it's looking like Wike has won, because I saw an interview the other day. I think yesterday he was gloating over it and saying, "Oh, Ayu has finally been sacked. So what was the whole stress about? What was the whole point of dragging the whole issue?" But at the end of the day, elections have been carried out. Your party still did not end up winning the presidency ticket or the office. And where is PDP left at now? Who is going to be the new chairman? So and rumor has it that, Wike is also pushing to, become the chairman and all that. I really don't know how true that is. That is allegedly. But at the end of the day, who wins? Wike, but to what point? What's the point of you actually now having to sack him and put in someone new? Okay, maybe for the elections to come in the next 4 years, but right now I really don't understand why it's something to jubilate about or something to applaud, because what the major intent was so that we didn't have north on the major positions, in PDP, but now elections are over and he's being sacked. What's the way forward?
So it's more like medicine after death.
Right. What's the way forward? But Wike always had something up his sleeve. So I'm sure that him or Tom and the others, they always will know what the next plan is. And I'm watching keenly to see what pans out next after this as well.
Okay, so shortly before I also draw the curtain on this headline, Natasha, yes, I'm aware that Wike is just one man, and of course you can't say because Wike didn't really fully support Atiku during the elections, that's why he lost. But he's a major pillar. He's a major pillar in PDP. We can't take away the fact that Wike is a force to reckon with when it comes to Nigerian politics at the moment. So do you see his of course we saw some anti-party activities from him through the elections. So do you see his anti-party activities during the elections addressed as a major factor in PDP losing the election?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. There are no two ways about it, and I still don't understand why he's not yet been suspended. from PDP. I don't understand the politics going around there, but it was
See,
clear.
as a result of too much influence in the party,
Obviously, I think he's the money bag of PDP at this point in time. I think he's the one sustaining it.
the face of PDP.
Woo, right now. But yes, it was glaring that there was a lot of anti-party activities. I mean, we clearly see what happened in River State, you know, with the APC having to give, you know, our votes to the APC candidates, you know, for presidential elections and all that. So there was deliberate anti-party activity, which was called out, and we know he was taken to court. Actually, they initially wanted to suspend him, but it didn't pull through. So I actually don't know how that is going to go, but I know that he definitely was one of the key factors why they didn't come out tops.
So you're saying
during the presidential race,
Atiku actually shot himself on the foot by not giving Wike his
Yes,
way when
he
he
did.
said, "You should remove that."
he did, and at the end of the day, it's all politics, because what you are wondering, okay, why not do that which the party wants, which is, yes, the presidency is given to the north, the chairman should be given to the south. So why are you not doing that? Why are you not following through on that? Why did you have to drag it all out at the end of the day? So him losing at the end of the day and being in court at the end of the day today, he was a primary key factor as well, as to his loss.
Okay.
You know, so I mean,
A friend of mine was
it's
actually
politics.
saying, a friend of mine was actually saying, if Wike wants to cross carpet, why don't you just cross carpet at once?
With your full chest.
To cross carpet with your full chest to APC, let's know, okay, you're not one guy in PDP.
That you're done, but no,
you're done.
I doubt that
What's
he'll
the
do that.
essence of still being in PDP and you're not fully supporting?
And it is for me. It was so funny. Like when I was looking at the whole drama, I'm like, Wike was in the party, imploded the party, and is still in the party. I'm like, what? What?
Okay.
There are levels to these things at the end of the day.
Let's go on a quick break right now, and then we'll return and then give you the rest of the headlines. Stay tuned.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Yes, you are welcome back from that short break. Still on the newspaper review here on that TV, we shall be taking a look at now at our last paper for today, which is the Guardian newspaper. Headlines here in the Guardian. The boldest headline here in the Guardian says, subsidy removal plan raises anxiety as Labour breaks rank. Subsidy removal plan raises anxiety as Labour breaks rank. And on page 6 here, we have in the Guardian, so it says PDP obeys court order, replaces IU with Damagum. PDP obeys court order, replaces IU with Damagum. That's medicine after death there on page 6 of the Guardian. And on page 30 of the Guardian, we have 1 year after Kaduna government releases personal belongings to train attack victims. 1 year after Kaduna government releases personal belongings to train attack victims. That story is on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. And over now to page 3 of the Guardian, we have Zenith Bank, grosses 945.5 billion naira in 2022. Yes, we've seen this before. And still in page 3 of the Guardian, we have your Labour suspends strike. CBN picketing to monitor cash flow for 2 weeks. Labour suspends strike. CBN picketing to monitor cash flow for 2 weeks. That's on page 3. And on page 4, we have Dogua's case file no longer with police. Dogua's case file no longer with police. That's on page 4. And lastly, in the Guardian, still on page 4, Tinubu cancels 71st birthday colloquium for national prayer. Tinubu cancels 71st birthday colloquium for national prayer. That's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. That's the much we can take in the Guardian newspaper for today. Subsidy removal plan raises anxiety as Labour Party breaks rank. Natasha Brown, please, can I get your reaction to this headline, please?
Well, subsidy removal. Okay, it's been a long time coming. I think right from when Buhari got into office, it's been all about subsidy removal. Even when Jonathan was there, subsidy removal. We've been hearing all of that, and supposedly, subsidy is supposed to be taken off and not be the order of the day anymore in the petroleum industry from June. I think June is the deadline, but the NLC, they're looking at the downside of the subsidy removal, the disadvantage, whereby there's likely going to be fuel price hike and transportation increase as well, which is going to negatively impact the general populace because incomes have still not increased. So the same salary that you earn and the same money that, yes, it's still the same money that you're going to use to buy this fuel your generator at a high price and all of that. So those are the angles the NLC is looking at, and their own stance is we haven't seen proper measures and proper mitigative plans to be able to say that when we do this, these are the avenues we are creating so that it's not too much on the people. The change is not too much on the people. So that's the avenue that they're looking at. But on the flip side, taking off subsidy removal will also be of good to the nation's pocket, to the nation's coffers. So that will mean that they would now have to look more into getting these refineries geared up. That's another angle that the NLC is looking at. They're saying that refineries haven't been geared up. They haven't been revived. The only one we have that is most functional now that we're looking forward to being fully established is the Dangote refinery, which the federal government has 20% stake in, and even the Pangasan chairman is beginning to say that the federal government should buy higher stakes, so that they could have more shares and decision-making power in Dangote refinery and all of that. So we see all of those avenues that the NLC is weighing, and most importantly, they're looking at it, in terms of the Nigerian people saying that we've gone through cash crunch, we've gone through fuel price hike, we've gone through a lot in this country. So now, if we're looking forward to subsidy removal come June, and there's a likelihood that the fuel price is going to jump up to 750 naira per liter. Even though the Pangasan chairman has come out to say that it's not going to get up to that basically what was calculated was based on black market rates, but it's not going to get up to that. But will there be an increase? Yes. So there are all these avenues that we have to look at and that the NLC is looking at. But at the end of the day, we know that subsidy removal is important. It is a good thing because the amount of money that we spend that cannot be accounted for is horrible. And definitely we know that our refineries have to be revived, they have to be rebuilt, they have to be serviced, they have to be maintained. There's a lot that is going on. So at the end of the day, I hope that the right thing is done. I hope that the new people coming into governance, they would actually look into rehabilitating our refineries so that we can be producing here
now
and not refining, out there.
Speaking about refineries, before we call it a day, do you think for any reason that there is a deliberate, or it is deliberate from mostly the political class not to look into the refineries, maybe because of their selfish interest, and maybe because most of them actually have refineries outside the countries that they go to do these things and then gain massively from it and bring it back to sell to us? Do you feel like, do you smell some sort of foul play when it comes to the issue of refineries? Because nobody's going to tell me that there's no money to look into these refineries and make things right to ensure that we begin to refine our own products and benefit massively from them. That we always need to push out our natural resources out there to refine them. Come on, this is Nigeria, the biggest and largest economy in Africa we're talking about. And up until this time, We are still talking about the refinery issue. Do you smell some foul play when it comes to the political class?
Definitely. But I'm looking forward to
suspicious. It's suspicious.
Yes, but I'm looking forward to a president that will come through and do the needful. You know, because it is very disheartening that we are what we say we are as Nigeria, that we are, and yet we cannot refine our products locally. You know, and even when we know what should be done, we're not doing it. Even though yes, it's highly capital intensive, but I know that there are ways to go about it.
Yes.
You know, so it's very unfortunate that there is a select crop of people that are deliberately pressing on the refineries not getting rehabilitated just so that they can still keep getting their chunks of money.
Not just the refineries, though.
The whole distribution chain, the whole value chain, But that's where we need a functioning Minister of Petroleum. That's where we need a functioning petroleum regulatory body. That's where we need a functioning presidency that can be able to do the right thing for the good of the nation. So honestly, if subsidy removal is a thing and they have worked around the whole processes and they think that Dangote refinery can be able to do a large chunk of refining locally here in Nigeria, then let's go with it. But if it's going to be a big hit on the people, I don't know if Nigerians are ready for any other big hit at this point in time. Only this, we're only into the first quarter of the year. Look at how much stress that there has been. You know, so it's, I understand where the NLC is coming from, but at the end of the day, I just hope that even though they're going to take up subsidy eventually, that they do it in not just one whole thing. They do it in batches, so like they ease Nigerians into this new change. That would rather be what my thought process is.
So the negative effects doesn't really fall much.
Like it doesn't hit us
so hard.
Yes, in the face. So with time. So that's what I'm looking at. Because right now, just coming out to say Nigerians, you're going to be buying fuel at 750, 600. Oh my God. You know, so I hope that they do this with wisdom and proper strategy.
Exactly.
And having proper plans in place, not like what the CBN did with cash crunch and all these issues we're having. Proper plans in place to say that within this quarter, within that quarter, this is what we will do, this is what aspects we will take up, this is how we would go about it so that it doesn't just hit the citizenry in the face like that. So I'm hoping for the best.
Tasha Brown, thank you so much for your time with me on the program today. I really do appreciate your contribution with me today. And I also appreciate you, my wonderful viewers, who have been faithful to your screen up until this time, because without you, this program would be possible and we would not be here. Thank you so much once again. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and I'm saying that this is the end of the newspaper review for today. Thanks so much for watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so. And after subscribing, you can turn on your notification bell so you can get notified when we come online and drop new videos. Do also check us out on our different social media platforms as well. You can check us out on the YouTube channel, where we are Tap TV on YouTube, on Instagram, we are Tap TV_NG, and Facebook and Twitter, we are Tap TV. Thank you so much once again. Until we come your way again next time, do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.